In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, I'd like to give you some tips on controlling the timing of the appearance of titles and the title in and out animation. This comes as a request of one of my subscribers. What I'd like to do is show you an example where you're going to see three white titles, and we're going to show you a bit about how to control the timing of their appearance on the screen as you see in the example. The first thing I've done is I've taken my video and put it on track number 1, and now I'm going to go to the title room. I can press the F7 key or click on the T, and right now I'm in the text only subcategory. I'm going to take the most generic My Title and drag it down and drop it on an empty video track, track number 2. Now the default for My Title length or duration happens to be 4 seconds. If you click on the title and click on the clock, it will tell you how long that is. If you want to change that, change your default, all you need to do is click on the gear at the very top, and that will give you some of your preferences. Choose the editing option, which is the second one down, and then you'll see an area which gives you the title duration. You can use the up and down arrows, or you can drag across the title and type a different number if you want. I'll type 6 for now. And then click on OK, and now any new title will start at 6 seconds long. But what I want to do first of all is I want to edit this title. So I'm going to double click on it, or I can press the F2 key. Either will get me into my title designer. I'm going to use Control A to highlight all of the characters. I'm going to change the font. I know the one I want, so I can start typing the font name. I'm going to use Arial Black. And when I press Enter, it changes it. And then I'm going to change the size. I'll go to, well, I'll leave it larger for illustration here. I'll leave it at 36. And then I want to change one other item. I want to give it a little bit of more distinction. So I'm going to change the border. I'll change away from blue to my favorite black, click on OK, make it a little more subtle, we'll drag it down to a size of 1. And now I have the My Title. I'm going to highlight it again, and we'll change the content. I'll call this Waterfront Life. Okay, now I have my title. Let me show you a little bit about timing. Now, right now you notice when I highlight this, I have 3 bluish green areas. The left area, if I hover over it with the mouse, says no effect. The right area says no effect. These are my in and out animation effects. And I can always find out if any are applied by simply hovering the mouse over that. The duration of the effect by default is something like 1/3 of the length of the title. You can change that by hovering the mouse over the little white line and dragging it to the left or the right. Now this is going to be important, because sometimes we want to be very careful about controlling the duration of our starting or ending effect. Let me show you an example. I'm going to click on the Animation tab on the left panel. I'll click on In Animation to expand that, and let's just do let's do a beam in down. There's a beam in down. You click on it, you'll see it on the preview screen. And if I hover over here, now it says I'm beam in down. Now this is how long it takes to do that. Right now, if I look at my cursor, I'm at 1 second and 4 frames into the title. Now here's an important thing to remember. You can use one of 2 time codes. This is the time code for the entire title. If I click on the other, this will be the time code for the clip, because the title starts 2 seconds into my project. This is where the title begins project-wise. If I click on here, it's in relationship to the title. Sometimes you'll want one number, sometimes you'll want to know the other one. This is why these 2 icons are important. But we'll leave it with just the timing inside of the title. So right now, I'm 1 second and 4 frames. Watch what happens when I drag this to the right. We'll make it happen longer. And we'll stop and we'll play. And now you see it takes a little bit longer for it to come in. Now, one of the things that happens, let's go back to about where we were to start with. What happens if you decide you want your title to be longer? I'm going to click on OK. We'll leave this edit as it is. We'll go back to our title. I'll click on the clock. Let's say instead of 4 seconds, we want the title on the screen for 12. We'll triple it. Press Enter. Now when I go back to edit the title, watch what happens. If I move my playhead over, I find that now it takes 3 seconds and 7 frames in order for that effect to fully finish. What's going on? Whenever you shorten or lengthen a title in PowerDirector and you have the timing of the in or out animation, what's going to happen is it will change it proportionally. What I found is I need to control how long that's going to be on the screen before I start adjusting it, because if I make adjustments later, I have to go back and change everything to make it fit. Now we're going to shrink the area here so we don't need the keyframes. That's not part of this lesson. But the same is true if you're working inside here. Let's add another title. I'll just double click anywhere on the preview screen and I'll type in another one. Desirable amenities. We'll move it over on the screen. And you notice it starts with no effect and it starts on the left side. What I might want to do in this case is I might want to take this and have it come in after Waterfront Life. So all I need to do is drag till I see the double-headed arrow, and now I can shorten that to title only. But you notice what happens here. It also changes the duration proportionally of the in effect and out effect. So if I have this one and I want it set to just over a second, and then we'll have this come in slightly after. If I want this to be that same length and come in at the same speed, I have to readjust it to approximately the same number of frames. And we can calculate it by moving the playhead where we want. The first one's 109 and this one starts at 117, so we would add approximately 109, so the ending should be 226. And so now these will come in at the same pace, which is very important. Again, what I have to do on the second clip, I also have to go to its animation tab on the in animation and apply the beam in down again for that one. Hover over it to make sure it took it. And now we'll have each of these come in one after the other, but we've got the right kind of timing when it comes to both of the elements. So those are some tips I would give you as you try to adjust the timing of your titles and title animation to be most effective in your productions in CyberLink PowerDirector.